So with the Attack on Titan reprint happening, is actually one topic I also want to discuss as well too when it comes to feedback that Bushiroad takes as a company with Weiss Schwarz. Because unlike most other companies where they just print it once and is one and done and most of the times it just never comes back again, it seems like with Weiss Schwarz, they actually take feedback from the company and actually listens to them. And I'm not really sure if this has anything to do with the fact that it's a Japanese company, because the same thing actually happened in Pokemon where they actually started reprinting a lot of the stuff that people were trying to scalp and just like scoop up everything so other people can't buy it, and they resell it at like crazy prices. And this actually happened in different markets as well too, in collectibles such as Gundam model kits, where people are actually scalping and reselling it. So they're always trying to find ways to combat it, so that way that, you know, it doesn't look, I guess, look bad on them as a company where people are purely just buying these things just to invest in it. Because I think it's a problem that's been happening since whatever's been happening in the past 2 years with the global situation. And then what happens is that these markets were not scalped before, but then I guess most of the stonks investors actually come from international markets, mainly in the US, where they buy out everything overseas, and then I guess like it gets proxied and shipped over to the US. And in every single one of these collectibles markets, there's been this issue, and they've been constantly trying to combat it, where like in when it comes to Gundams, if you try to like buy a box, what they'll do is, I think they try certain things like asking people questions about the franchise if they knew it, and then like quizzing them. And they also had other things where they would like cut a hole in the box, so, or just open the packaging so it's no longer sealed, so that way that people can't resell it. So it's just interesting things to note down. And with the Weiss market, it seems like they're taking the feedback from the customers directly, where they're asking people what sets they want to reprint. And this happened with Data Live, Slime, and Overlord, where they did a survey on whether people want the reprints or not. And they actually ended up reprinting them. And then I guess with Attack on Titans, it's just based on the fact that a new season was coming out and it was popular enough that people want it. I would assume they have their feelers in the market where they're actually in the community, as well as they see like certain cards are popular, like, oh, the Albedo card, as well as they see a lot of these Attack on Titan cards being sold on eBay. So I would assume someone in the company actually filters it out themselves and just kind of like looks around and go like, you know what? All these cards are being sold and people keep buying them, so let's just keep printing more in them. I'm going to assume that is exactly what is happening. So with all these old sets that you know people are hoarding up, like the JoJo set, the Konosuba sets, and just all these sets like ReZero that are getting hyped up for stonks, if there's actual demand for it, and if like you want to let Bushiroad know, send out like a Twitter, send them an email, and just let them know that these are the things that you want reprinted, because it seems like they actually listen. I also find it hilarious that when it comes to the reprints, they actually specify that they're going to retain their original specifications to the cards, meaning that rather than having silver and signatures like the Overlord and the Slime reprints, they're going to keep the original signatures on there, meaning that the only thing that these scalpers and resellers really had and kept trying to say, oh, these reprints won't affect anything. Well, here we go. Because they're taking feedback that people don't like the fact that they don't like how silver signatures look. So here we go. We're going to print everything with the original gold signature. So in reality, these stonks investors and resellers that bought everything at high prices, banking on the fact that there's going to be a distinction between the differences, and we're trying to be the loudest and constantly show off that, oh, there's going to be a difference in this signature, so, you know, this is still stonks. Well, I guess in this case, it kind of worked against them, because I guess the company took it as feedback as, oh, people don't like these silver signatures, so we're going to make them all the same again then. So again, I just want to mention, I like the card game, I like collecting, but you have to be honest and just realize that the market for it is actually very niche and very small. So before you buy these expensive cards, buy these expensive sealed boxes, depending on if you're just collecting it or if you're just looking to resell it later on, before you buy into the hype, realize that since the market is so small, and again, I point out all these numbers, like the fact that all these high number graded cards none of them have that are selling for thousands, right? None of them have sales that number to even over 5. They're all less than 10. In most cases, it's less than 2 sales that the actual price is over a couple $1,000s. And when it comes to that, you have to realize that means that there's a very small group of people that are just circle jerking each other, that are hyping up the prices on these cards. And I suspect, again, I think I said in a different video, that I suspect that it numbers to less than 20 of them that are doing this. And maybe 30, right, if I'm being generous. But realistically, probably less than 20 of these people are buying up everything in this market and reselling it out using different names and different platforms, and they're selling all these boxes that are sealed, like these old products. So be very, very, very careful before you buy these like expensive cards and expensive sealed boxes, because they're pretty much just shilling it in the groups and just advertising it, thinking that people don't notice and hoping to assume that everyone's just stupid. So at the end of the day, like, if you truly enjoy the stuff and you want to buy it, again, go ahead, right? If you can afford to buy it, go ahead. But if for everyone else that's like just normal people that maybe has to think about things before they buy it, remember, fill out those surveys, tweet them, send them an email, let Bushiroad know, hey, you know what, these sets are popular. They'll look at, okay, these sets do sell and they're popular. Then they'll take into the account that people want these sets, like JoJo, Konosuba, all these other sets that you see people try to jack up the prices on and constantly try to sell these mapped out sealed boxes. Let them know that you want reprints, and it seems like it's gonna happen. But yeah, I pretty much am not interested in these Attack on Titan cards because I kind of fell out of love with the series. I found it kind of But I know a lot of people are into it, so just be aware, if you're into it, pre-order it. Don't let people bamboozle you on the price. And just remember, right, when it comes to just things that you want, buy it if you like it. If you didn't really want it to begin with and you're just buying it for the sake of the fact that everyone else is buying and hyping it up because the price is going up and is selling for a lot, then you really need to think about it before you buy these things. Again, if you can afford it and it really doesn't matter to you, then you wouldn't be thinking about the purchases, right? But for most people, it does matter, and you think about, okay, before I spend money on something, let me think about whether or not I want it, and if it's worth it or not. And most of the time, if you have to think about it, then you probably didn't want it that badly to begin with anyways, and you're probably better off not buying it, and you'll thank yourself for it later on. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching, and remember, fill out those surveys. Unlike most companies where you could probably just ignore the survey because it's meaningless, it actually matters in this case. Have a great day.